Hey, what's up guys, Soaps here, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a long-awaited entry in my old homemade TCG series. So, yeah, I haven't made one of these videos in a really long time. Hope you guys enjoy it. Before we get into this card game, I want to say something about 7 Seas TCG. If you have a name for this card, put it down in the comments. I can't really think of a good name for him. If you guys give me a good name and I like it, I will choose it for this card. So just let me know. I'm pretty bad at naming cards. No, I'm okay. But yeah, let me know if you have a good name. So this game I made right before Sketchbook Chronicles beta, about I think so. I don't know. We'll go with that time frame. It's before Sketchbook Chronicles beta, but after the Sketchbook Chronicles beta. I don't remember. I think it was the no-name game in this series, but that's what I call it with Danny. So I made it for my friend Ryan in school. We would just play in school, and I would just make all the cards. And it's one of those games that you just can have a big stack of cards and just split them in half and play the game from there. So it didn't matter who had which cards. It was just fun games and stuff. I would hope so. So this is my take, I guess you could say, on Chaos Galaxy's Evolvers. So you say, Soaps, why'd you copy Chaos Galaxy? I don't think I did, to be honest, but I used some of the things that I liked from his game, and I think it's important for everyone to mess around like how I did. I tried other people's games or making my own version of the games because I think that's how we all start anyway. We're making our own trading card games. I used to base mine off of Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! So I did the same when I found people on YouTube that I liked. So, for example, with the Evolver series, I thought that was a pretty cool idea. I'll try that. So I'm going to explain my rules. I don't really remember how the Evolvers game worked for Chaos Galaxy, but because I haven't seen that video in a long time. But we had these things called lifelines, and I had my own terminology for this because I did whatever I wanted. And these were your guys that you need to protect. When these guys died, you had to you forfeit or you just lost. So you would start off with your level 1, and then you had to kill monsters to go up to your level 2. You had to kill a monster, and then you had a deck full of these protector cards or monsters. I think Chaos Galaxy calls them protectors. I didn't call them protectors. I think I just called them monsters or whatever. Again, wasn't the most professional game. And I think you had a hand of 3 cards. And you could place 1 protector or monster, I don't know, every turn. So it was purely chance, and it was my first game where I tried to make every single protector card pretty much even. So I just made a bunch of cards that had their own abilities to make them different, but they were all supposed to be around the same evenness. So you could just pick cards that you liked, put them in the deck, and not have to worry about having a disadvantage. So, yeah, I like this game a lot. It has a fun spot in my heart for one of my favorite card games. It's pretty high up there. And it all started with this game. I made this. Let me think of a date. So bad with you. Okay, so this must have been made in the Christmas of 2015. So before Christmas, and I was just messing around. I wanted to make a team fighting game where everybody was somewhat the same, but they all had unique attacks and stuff. And that's where I guess I got the idea that I wanted all the cards to be different in Sketchbook Chronicles. But this was the original template, and I just did these on somewhat thick paper. They're not cardstock or anything. And I made the later cards by cutting out a sketchbook, so they're a little bit thicker. So the way this game worked, like I said, you could place them down. There was no cost or anything in this game. You could just place them down, and then you could do damage with, I think it was every single one. So let's say you had both these guys on the field and your opponent had this guy. You would be able to attack with both of your guys, dealing their attack values. And it was a health and attack game. And then they had their own abilities that could be used a certain amount of turns. So for example, freeze one creature for 3 turns so it couldn't attack or anything. And you could use that every 2 turns. So that's how it worked. And the way that you leveled these guys up, like I said, you had to kill somebody, and they had fairly low attack compared to everybody else. These, I want to say that the first guys I made were the worst when it came to stats and stuff, because I didn't really know what I was going for at that point. So I had to buff them depending on how they did. Like, I think that was only 1,000, but I made it 1,800 to make it better. Wait, is that 1,800? That's a lot of damage. Oh, it's deal 800. Okay, never mind. It was probably like 500. I can totally read. So yeah, the catch was to level up your evolver, lifeline, whatever you want to call it. You had to attack, and you could only attack when you had no protectors on your field. So that was the catch with that, because I figured you would just always leave your attacks for your lifeline, like the kill shot, and then you would just level them up. Alright, so that's enough rule talk. I want to not have this be too long of a video, so let's talk about the 2 lifelines that I made. I made one for Ryan. It was basically the evolution of him, and as he got to a bigger and bigger derp, which he kept because I thought that was the right thing to do. So we have Budum, level 1, evolves into Backman, which evolves into Canton. Really weird names, but I like this guy. I remember making these, and it was a lot of fun to make. Pretty simple, but I think they came out nice. I like all the cards in this game, pretty much. I kind of numbered them, like this is 23, that's 24. These were 1, 2, and 3. So we have stops, timekeeper. Well, in the field, you can place a second creature. Let's tell you how you spell second. With higher health than attack. There you go. Grandmaster. And I only played this game with Ryan, and he had the tendency to just not level up his lifeline at all and just sit there and spam monsters. My strategy was more trying to level my guy up so that he could last longer with higher health. So we got Porter. His ability was teleport. You can only use it once. Once this creature dies, add it to your hand, so it would only happen once. It didn't always go back to your hand. And I just had random types. They didn't really do anything. He was a space type. Frosticus, we already went over freeze. Icy Resort, every 2 turns, gain 150 max HP and heal 100. So gain would mean go over the max, and heal would mean if it's not max. Dictionary. I wanted to do some word thing here. Then I tried to shade the background, and it didn't really work. Invisible. Every 3 turns, go invisible for 2 turns and cannot be hit. Pretty cool. He's a space type. Flyboy, he's a city type, because all the Flyboys are from the city. And Bloodsuck, I believe that is 1. When this unit attacks, it gains/heals 300 health. Spy. This is how you can tell I did it in Christmas. I thought this was pretty cool shading at the time. That's exactly what it was, apparently. Spy, attack before opponent. That literally means nothing. I was trying to do a team game that you would do, like, simultaneous attacks. Didn't really work. That's why I converted it into this game. Shuriken, deal 200 to all opponents every 2 turns. Han Solo, beautiful. Oh, actually, wait. Oh, I guess this is on this template. I was about to say. I think this was the first card that I made. Oh, no. I don't know what I'm talking about. So this is Derp Han Solo. Pretty cool. No arms. Who needs arms? Lucky shot. When this unit attacks, do 100 to all opponents' units. Not really the best ability. It wasn't really that good. Wrestler Bob, Pile Driver, every 2 turns, deal 800 to 2 units. Now we get into the later cards that I made. So we have cards like Rock, beautiful. Lol, why are you reading this, mate? You mad, bro? Yes, I am. And 2700 health, and it is a Earth type. Rarf, who is also an Earth type. And this was pretty fun. This is one of my favorite cards. So when you place it down, deal 1000 damage to all opponents when placed. Which was fun. So you could save this in your hand until you wanted to deal that heavy damage. Poek. This goes with another card that we'll get into, but I'll read his ability now. All opponents must attack this guy, and it regens all of its health at the end of the turn. So, he had to be killed in 1 turn. We'll go back to him in a second, so I'll put him over here. Munster. Every time this card attacks, it loses 200 attack because it had a very high attack stat. It could basically one-shot most of the monsters. Demoness Shoe. Bite. Every time this unit attacks, flip a coin. If heads, deal an extra 500 damage. Tails, nothing. Boogaflock. Beautiful name. Attacks Charge Beam. Every turn, deal 100 damage to a protector. Oh, I guess I did call him protector. On your next attack, do plus 200 damage. He's a city type. Ship. Very funny card. 2000 attack, 2000 health. Every time this card attacks, deal 500 damage to yourself, or your other cards I wrote of, because I can write good. Space type, obviously. So this was fun. Like, you could do crazy damage, but you always had to have something to take a hit for you, unless you were gonna sacrifice him. Princess Leia, beautiful, with Han Solo at the bottom right. Blaster Fire. Deal 300 damage to 1 unit every turn. Another space type. Stormtrooper. I think he came out pretty cool. Also, I drew almost all of these in school because who needs to learn anything when you can draw cartoons? Am I right, guys? So I had no references, so this came out pretty cool, in my opinion. It can only be killed in 1 turn, just like the Poek down here. And Blaster Fire, deal 200 to 1 unit. He's dreaming about some hot dogs right now. Luke Skywalker, no ability. Pretty cool, though. Just look at that face. Cowman, Graze, gain/heal 300 health. And this was I remember this was a pretty hard card to kill, because they would heal every turn, and then you can fly and go invis for 1 turn and not be able to be attacked. Mannequin Man, yes, I don't know how to spell mannequin, but I totally did that on purpose. We'll just say that. And he has a stand, heal 500, heal/gain 500 health every turn. Wow, that's pretty good. And so yeah, he had a card before any of you guys even knew about him. Frey Stickman. So this is what Poek goes with. And he has 0/0, so he can be instantly killed and he can't do any damage. So every turn that this card is live, kill 1 creature. Okay, so I switch between creature and protector. Or deal 1000 to a lifeline. So this could potentially 1-shot or 2-shot your opponent's lifeline if you kept him alive long enough, so you'd want to use Poek. Stick Monster. So this goes back to my Get Wrecked TCG, one of my favorite cards from that game, which I think is the first real game that I made. Its ability is penis. That sounds really, I just said that out loud. No dirty minds out there. It's overpoweredness. Abbreviation. Heck yeah. When this unit kills a creature, gain 300 or heal 300 health. Ram, deal 200 damage to 1 unit every turn. That's a type. We'll take a break, and we'll talk about this archetype that I have here. So we have the Illuminati pen and Illuminati pencil. So my friend Ryan, he would always write in pen, and yeah, that's definitely how you spell his name. Totally didn't mess it up on purpose. Yeah, okay. So we got the Luminary Pen and Luminary Pencil, and they work together because when this card is on the field with Pencil, both cards' health and attack become 1,900, which is pretty good, almost as good as Ship. And when placed, add Pen to the field. So, yeah, that's Luminary Pen and Pencil. Next up, we'll talk about, I don't know what I called these, maybe spell cards. And we have a Snooper Duper Block. You would just put these in the deck, and you would just draw them and be able to place them on that turn. So for 3 turns, your opponent cannot use abilities. And beautiful card art. Frega Power. This is a support card for Frega Stickman. Opponent cannot attack 1 creature of your choice for 2 of their turns. So if you drew this in the same time as having Frega Stickman out on the field, you could basically win the game. So that was pretty troll. Turbo Arm, equip this to a unit. It can use its ability twice. And Inner Power, switch all of your units' health and attack for 3 turns. Wasn't really that helpful, to be honest. I mean, unless you were Rock, then it was pretty OP, because then you'd have 5 health and 2,700 attack and just one-shot everything. So we'll go back to this. We got Derpatron. This is what Derpatron looked like before it was a dinosaur. I know. This was so better. Should have stayed with this. Spoops, everybody's favorite flying star. Star Smash, deal 500 damage to 1 unit. Balin, if your opponent has 2 or more creatures, Balin's attack is 1,900. Yeah, this was a pretty good card as well. Meep, oh, this was such a troll card. So while on the field, draw 1 extra card. So this thing would just sit there if you played it right, and you would just draw so many cards. And yeah, you could only place once per turn, but it was still pretty fun to get a bunch of cards, especially if you're drawing into those spell cards. And then finally, we have a combiner card, Big Duck. Beautiful, most detailed art you've ever seen, I know. And Splash, you can do it in Nothing Happened. That is a game reference. Magic, for every 2 turns, you can heal 500. And Peck, deal 200 damage to a lifeline. And, yeah. So that's all the cards that I have for in this game. So remember, guys, let me know what you think about that name, so I can name that before the next video. And, yeah, I think that's it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this game. This is one of my favorites. And just don't be afraid to mess around and try other people's games and see what you can make out of them, because it's very important to try and find your own way, but also figure out what the heck you're supposed to be doing and don't be afraid to use some examples. So that has been a card game that I also haven't really named. We should obviously call it Sketchbook Chronicles Beta. No, I'm just kidding. So I guess you'll see what I call it in the title. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.